Hello, everybody. Welcome to Live Sessions. Lily's here. She's probably gonna join us. How was everybody's weekend? I'm gonna sit here and say hello to everybody, little pad. Say hi, everybody. Yeah. How was everybody's weekend? Did everybody have a good 4th of July weekend? We had so much fun. Lily, however, didn't like the sound. Aw, you didn't at all. But she did, however, have fun at the beach on Saturday. We went to Ocean Shores here in Washington, if you don't know where that is. And, yeah, she had a blast running all over the sand and playing in it and stuff. So, it was lots of fun. But yesterday we got to see, if you've seen the posts, we got to see Katie Wade live, and we got to see the Olsen brothers live, so that was lots of fun. So it was just a lot of fun just hanging out with people, and she just put her nails on my foot, and all that good stuff. So it was lots of fun. If you want, put in the comments what you guys do for 4th of July. So I'm excited to hear what you guys did. Today we have Haley Graves. She's an amazing musician that I've just been hearing all kinds of raving about. So I'm excited to have her on. And she joined us. So let's bring her on, shall we? Maybe. Hey!
So nice to meet you.
It's so nice to meet you too. You popped on just as I was introducing you. So yeah. Perfect timing.
Awesome. Yeah, it's so good to finally meet you. My hair is blonde, by the way. Now I'm kind of half blonde.
I see that. But you know what? I like it. It fits your skin tone very well. I love it.
I felt like it did. I did it before Pride Fest, and
yeah.
I've been kind of for a while been itching to do highlights and kind of go blonde a little bit. I was kind of getting just the plain old brown. So
yeah, I did that too. It's growing out now, but
yeah,
I did that too, and it's good for the summer. It's so much. It makes you look a little bit like tanner, I think, instead of bright white I am.
I will say, playing Pride, I definitely looked kind of orange.
Yes.
It's very, very hot during Pride, so I definitely looked a little orange.
Yeah, I imagine. Yeah, that weekend was pretty warm. So, yeah. How was it playing Pride?
It was amazing, closing out the Merrill stage. That was so amazing. I've never played on such a huge stage, I don't think. I think that may have been the biggest stage I've ever played on, especially as a solo artist.
Yeah.
And I didn't know how legendary the stage was until maybe I think a week or two before, when I told some people that I was playing. They were like, whoa, that's the Pearl Jam stage. And so I pulled up the Pearl Jam video of them playing on that stage. I was like, this is crazy. I'm playing the stage Pearl Jam once played.
Yeah, you're among legends at this point.
I guess.
But yeah, that's amazing. And you're a Seattle, as far as I understand you, and from what I've seen, you're a Seattleite.
No,
you're not. Okay. Well, everywhere I looked said that you were from Seattle, so I was like, maybe she is, but she's not. I don't know.
I'm from Seattle. I'm a Washington resident now, but I'm originally from Maine, actually.
Wow, on the other side of the country. Holy moly. What made you come to Seattle?
College. I moved here about 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago.
Okay.
I guess next month will be 3 years. Wow. About 3 years ago. For college at Cornish, I dropped out, and I wrote my first song right before I dropped out, and then I decided I'm going to just make a career out of being a solo artist, and it kind of happened during the pandemic, and so it's been very weird that I went from, playing guitar for other people, because I'm a guitarist as well. So I went from playing guitar for other people to like just like yeah, doing my own thing. And I didn't expect that.
Was that transition, two questions.
Yeah.
Was that transition kind of scary? And how was the support from quitting school and moving across the country to doing that transition?
Yeah, so it was definitely weird. So I'm 21. So it feels like high school was forever ago just because we've had like 2 really long years with the
Yeah.
but really it was only 3 years ago I graduated high school.
Yeah.
I I went to a high school in Maine. It's very small. And my senior year was when I started coming into my own identity. I had a lot of identity issues that only in the last year and a half, I've kind of been working through and coming into and just overcoming just being Black and queer. And so after I graduated high school, I decided to move out here. It was when that transition happened. And it was because my music back in Maine wasn't always the most appreciated. You know the song Tourette's by Nirvana?
Yes.
So my senior year of high school, and nobody got it on video, and I wish we had, but you know, it's fine. I decided like a week before my high school graduation that I was going to play Tourette's by Nirvana on guitar just because I wanted to. And I think playing I think I had my senior recital like that week.
Yeah.
Because we had senior recitals and mine was a rock recital. And so I just decided like, okay, I'm going to play Tourette's by Nirvana. And so I played Tourette's in front of everybody, like 500 like white kids. Well, no, we were a diverse school too. We weren't like super diverse, but we had a diversity like thing where we had kids from other countries come to our school, which was dope and helped us diversify the school a little. But still predominantly white. And so yeah, it was just definitely different because a lot of people weren't used to that. They were like, what did I just watch? Like,
what just happened right now?
Oh, why randomly pull out her guitar and like I remember like we had the backing track in the background and I just was like, yeah, I'm gonna play it. So I played Tourette's by Nirvana just so randomly. It was so random too.
Yeah, but that's awesome. And it is that kind of part of your personality? Are you that spontaneous?
I like attention.
That too.
I like attention. That was one of the first times where I was like, I'm doing this for the attention. I'm doing this for the shock value. And I just got a high off it, you know? Yeah. I enjoyed it and was like, wow, people looked at me different. I like that attention. Now they're like, you're crazy. What?
Yeah. So what, were you going to Cornish for music or was it that was the case? Okay.
I went to Cornish for guitar.
Yeah.
Then the pandemic hit 6 months into me moving to Seattle.
Yeah.
It was like everything was gone for me. I hadn't really gone out to shows, so I was clueless, you know, when it came to the local scene.
Yeah.
You know the girl band out here, Atrocity Girl?
Yes, I do.
I was going to play guitar for them. And like when they were starting out, they had actually asked me to play a little bit for them too. And so I was actually going to originally play guitar for Atrocity Girl.
That's cool.
I was so tied up with school that like it didn't happen for me and I felt really bad. But they were the first people I met when I like moved to Seattle and was like in the industry here and scene. And so that was what I was gonna do. And then pandemic took place and then they were looking for another guitarist, I think, at the time. And then I auditioned. This was during like the end of the pandemic. I auditioned and then I got super sick with vertigo for a while during that time. And so it was definitely weird to be like having all these things. I was like, well, I guess the universe just wants me to focus on my own stuff at this point.
Yeah, right.
I think October of 2020, I wrote my first song, She Thinks My Pop Punk Is Cringy. And I wrote it about my ex-girlfriend at the time.
Yeah.
And we were together at the time, and I remember I wrote it, and I was really thrilled that I had, like, written this great song, and I didn't know, like, what that song was gonna be, and I had no clue that it was gonna take me to where I am. Hey, shout out to Amit. He's watching this. He's one of my producers.
Ah, okay. Hello. Nice to you to join us. Well, I've been in the local scene since 2001.
Yeah.
And you know, when you're kind of that invested in it, you hear about people before you meet them, right?
Yeah.
And so I've literally just, everybody's like, you have to have this girl on your show. This girl's amazing. She's in Seattle. She's on every single stage that there possibly could be. And I'm booking shows that you're on the same bill. And I'm just like, this girl is everywhere. Like, how do I not know this girl? And what's that?
I get that often. Everyone's like, you're everywhere. And I'm like, where? My bedroom? Like, where I am?
No, it just seemed like every bill or every venue I was trying to book, they were like, well, I said, who you already got? And they're like, oh, we have, and it's Haley, right? Not Hallie?
Haley, yeah.
Haley? Okay. They're like, oh, we have Haley Graves. And I'm like, that girl, man. I'm going to have to get that girl on my show. Like, this is crazy. I keep hearing about her. So it became just, and then I started kind of trying to look into you before I brought you on and asked, and, you know, if you were willing to do it. And it's just, I've heard so much about you that I kind of built it up in my head. You were this like huge person, you know.
Everybody does. That's what's so funny to me, is so many people.
I can't believe you're only 21. Like, I totally thought you were older than that. And I'm like, this is like, it's just amazing. I've heard a little bit of your music. I've been able to see you live once. I saw you at the Burien show, Burien Pride.
Oh, you were there? That's so cool.
Yeah. And so I booked everybody that was around you, but not you. But yeah, like it was just amazing to kind of see you do your thing in your own little element and like your own world, and you light a fire on stage, and it's amazing to watch and amazing to see. And I just love your energy. Like, it's just so much fun. You make everybody have fun.
I think the thing that really just like pushed me into Seattle's music scene really heavily, or not thing, the person. I think having a connection with Paige Turner. I don't know if you know her.
Oh, Paige, yeah. I don't know her personally, but I'm very well, I like you until now, I know her. Yeah. You know, I know her very well.
I voice lessons from Paige for a little bit of time.
That's awesome.
I had been working on my first EP with Amit.
Yeah.
And I was writing, or co-writing technically, my song 10 Things. And I had this like kind of verse in there that just needed to be added. And I had what it was at the time was like a temporary verse. And it's funny because that stayed in the song. That verse ended up actually staying. But I remember bringing the song to Paige, being like, what do I do? Like, this is just a really cringy, like, verse. And Paige was like, no, but let's send it over to Eva. And so I was like, okay. And so, like I said, you know, I'm from Maine. I'm just kind of coming into the scene now. Yeah. Paige introducing me to Eva Walker from the Blacktones.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Now everybody all of a sudden is like, who are you? Who is, you know, all year last year. At least
so that's why your name is everywhere. You're involved in some pretty amazing musicians in the area.
Oh, I think so.
And I mean, for the first people for you to meet is Blacktones, who are amazing in Seattle.
Yeah.
So popular. And then you know, and then you have Paige, who's just blew up herself too.
Yeah, and Black Ends, Nicole.
Oh, and then like it's just amazing. Like no wonder you're so popular.
Yeah, as well. like, I got
But
put
those
in.
are great
Yeah,
mentors, though. Like, way to pick your tribe. I'm
yeah,
saying.
it was like I got put into a group chat with all of them.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
and I was like, "Hi, I'm Haley. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
I do pop punk. I sing about girls.
Yeah.
I'm I'm kind of, I guess, up and coming, I guess, at the time. Or
Yeah.
I was like, this is what I do. Cool, nice to meet y'all. You
Yeah.
know, not really knowing them, and so they all were like super friendly and super loving and kind. And
Great.
I remember Eva saying to me, "Send me your demos," and I was like, "Okay, cool." So I sent Eva my song 10 Things, and Eva was like, "I love this. This is awesome. Like, I'm so glad to see someone's making like pop punk again." And
Yeah.
she was like absolutely in love with the demo. And after I got an email back from Eva, she was like, "I wouldn't change a thing about it if I were you." She was like,
Awesome.
"There's nothing I would change about this song. Like, it's good. You're good. You're doing good." And I was like, "Okay, thanks, Eva."
Yeah. Oh.
Uh, yeah. Anyway, yeah, Eva, has been a big supporter, and I kept the song like that. I think because of her and everyone else at the time that
Amazing.
heard that demo. So yeah, definitely Eva had a little bit of say in that EP as well. It's
Well,
super awesome.
fantastic. I mean, you got to have, I think in music, you have to have somebody you can bring it to. And,
Yeah,
and be able to bounce ideas and things off of. And I think that's really great that you found your tribe to be able to do
yeah,
that, because it makes you a better musician too. They'll give you tricks and trades and all that kind of stuff. And so, hold on just a sec. My dog wants out.
oh, totally good. You're totally
Um, so yeah, I mean, I think that to make it in this industry, you have to have people around you that support you and
yeah.
hear you as a musician and who you are as a musician. And that's so cool that you have such amazing people that are willing to support
Yeah.
you.
I think to answer your question too about like that transition, I don't want to say it was overnight success, but it was like I went to bed one day
Well,
and the next morning everybody in Seattle was talking about me. I played at Taking Black Pride last year. I think it's the end of June last year. I played Taking Black Pride, and I made the cover of Seattle Times, and it was weird because it wasn't weird, but it was just funny because it was my first show.
yeah,
I had like I said, it was my first show. I had like a 6-minute set and maybe 10. And I just remember this photographer coming up to me being like, "Hey, I'm with the Seattle Time. What's your name?" And, again, another hot year where it's 100 degrees
yeah,
Fahrenheit. And so, I'm sitting there eating chicken, like just melting in sweat. And I was like, "Oh, you're with Seattle Times," like trying to not look like an idiot.
yeah,
And I talked for a minute, and she actually had gotten a picture of me during my sound check. It wasn't even my set, but it was during my sound check. And so, yeah, no, she got the picture and was like, "Yeah, what's your name? What do you do? What's your genre?" So,
yeah,
and the next day I was like, "Huh, I wonder what happened with that picture." And I was like, "Oh, I'll just see if they like, thinking it's like, just
yeah.
maybe bottom or something." I was on the cover of the Seattle Times, and
Did you buy one?
I never saw it in the newspaper. I tried to buy one. I
Yeah.
never saw it in the newspaper. Maybe it ended up in the Seattle Gay News, but I didn't know. But my mom actually bought some pictures from the Seattle Times, and we actually have it framed on my parents' refrigerator.
That's awesome.
Speaking of my parents, my dad has joined and is now watching.
Well, hello, Father.
Yeah, he is. He's
Got a pretty talented kid, I'm just saying. Out there. Seattle does not know what they're in for.
It's like 10 p.m. in Maine, so I don't know what he's
Wow. Way to support, Dad. I'm
right.
proud of you. So, why don't we talk a little bit about your music? How is your process? I want to know what your process is for music. Like, do you go into it just, I want, you tell me, what is your process?
So, generally, it'll start out, it depends on what I'm doing. It really depends. Each project I feel like for me is different. With She Thinks, that was just like the song itself was like just a spur of the moment idea.
Yeah.
I said to one of my friends, "Oh, my girlfriend thinks my pop punk is cringy." I was like, "That is a good song title." Like, just did and like left my friends. I was like, "I'll be back later. Got a song I gotta go write." Shut all the lights off in my dorm room, and I had been trying to write songs for like a long while, like for maybe maybe the amount of time I've been playing guitar. I've been trying to. Now, there was a time where I was straight. There was a time in my life where I was straight and was. I try to forget that. But there was a time where I was writing songs about guys, and some of those songs I wrote when I was like 11 or 12. Like, I look back on, I'm like, oh my god, those are so cute. Like, I could like totally turn them into songs about girls now.
You could, yeah.
Totally do it. Um, but yeah, I got asked many times to try to write my own stuff, or if I was ever interested. I was always like, no, I can't. My songs are cringe. Well, what needed to happen was I needed to be writing about girls.
Yeah.
But with She Thinks, it was just such a spur of the moment. It was such a random idea. And so I just remember like writing that and just looking everywhere in my apartment and just being like, oh, she doesn't like my black and white flannel. Black and white flannel's over there. She doesn't like it. Let's write it, you know? So I wrote the whole thing. And I had actually that summer been working with a guitar teacher I had been working with back in Maine over Zoom on songwriting. And Owen and I, all summer long, we were trying so hard to get like one song that would stick. And so I ended up writing She Thinks by myself. Owen ended up helping me fix maybe like one little thing. But other than that, yeah, that was the first song I wrote and was like, I'm proud of it.
How old were you?
I was 19. I was about to turn 20. So
awesome.
So
that was the first time I wrote. I was a guitarist and a drummer.
Yeah.
The first time I sat down, and I mean, I had a whole bunch of poems and stuff, but the first time I sat down and actually wrote a song, I was 19.
Yeah.
And it made it onto a local artist album. They put it on their album, but it's interesting. I always wonder the age, because it seems that all of us kind of either were really young and started writing like 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, or when we get out of high school and we're 19, 20, 21, you know, it just seems like it's everybody kind of, it depends on who it is and what your life is, you know, but like,
right. She Thinks technically wasn't the first song I wrote. I have a song on my EP called Problem, and that actually is about a boy. But I like to pretend that it's not.
Yeah.
But I wrote that when I was 18, right before I moved to Seattle.
There you go.
I found the instrumental online, and I bought it off the guy who created this like instrumental for it, and I was like, I want it. And so I just had it chilling and was like, I don't know what I'm going to do with this for, you know, now, but hey, I wrote this cool song, and I was like, I don't know if I'll ever play it in public. Like, I was always shy about playing my own stuff. And so then I think maybe March or April of 2021, I was like, this needs to go on the EP. I was like, I need another song, and this is here. Why not? And so I bought the instruments offline. You know, I bought the instrumental offline. You know, had to sign contract, you know, whatever. And now it's mine.
That's awesome. How did you come up with the songs that you put on the EP? Was it purposeful?
Some of it was. She Thinks ended up happening because you know, that was my first song, and I was like, okay, that's cool. And I was like, what are we gonna name this EP? Like, we're gonna name it after one of these songs? I was like, oh, duh, She Thinks My Pop Punk is Cringy. That's, you know, that sticks out. And so that was an easy grab for me.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, no, I feel like I just kind of took what I needed. Things was the last song, or Pop Punk Princess was the last one I think I recorded and put on the EP. But my song 10 Things, I needed one more song. I had written Pop Punk Princess, I hadn't finished it, but 10 Things was definitely one that I was like, I need another song. And I reached out to my friend Topher, who's back in Maine. Topher, I think he's 18 now, maybe 17.
Yeah.
Like 16 or 17 when he wrote the song. And so he was like, okay, yeah, I got you. I can help write the song. And
Yeah.
cool. So he sends me the song and it's like acoustic. It was so different than what it is now. But it was acoustic and I was like, oh my gosh, I love this. Like, this is empowering. And I had just gone through a breakup with my partner at the time. And I was like, this is really empowering. Like, I like it. So, I paid him for it and was like, hey, man, I like the song a lot. And so I brought it to Amit. I made a demo with Eric Paget first. And then I brought it to Amit. And Amit was like, this is going to be a big song. And I was like, he's like, I want it to be just hard rock. And,
Yeah.
we came up with the guitar and drums. And then we kind of reshaped everything verse wise. I just remember recording it feeling like it was so out of order because that song takes a lot of twists and turns.
Yeah.
When I've had to teach band members how to play it, I'm like, oh my God, I forgot about how like tricky
Yeah.
the song like structurally, like the structure of the song is.
Yeah. That's awesome. Like, is that one of your favorites to play on stage, or do you have a favorite that you love playing?
I love playing 10 Things live. It's my favorite. Yeah. I think the high note in it for me, just the high notes in 10 Things at the end. And if you listen to the studio version, Amit did this like crazy improvised guitar solo. And funny story about that guitar solo, we ended up just making this demo and he makes this like super dope, just random guitar solo and sounds great. And then the following session we redid 10 Things and made a we remade like the song kind of, or like we made a final draft. And he did this other guitar solo in it and I was like, this just doesn't hit as hard as that one. And so I went home being like, I want that other one. I want that other guitar solo. And so I texted him, he's like one of the first producers I ever worked with. And, I didn't know that producers save everything,
Yeah, they do. Yeah.
So I texted him and was like, hey, is that guitar solo I was like, the guitar solo in the first one, can we use? I like it a lot. And he was like, yeah, sure, no problem. So I went to the studio, I think that following week. We got that EP done so fast. I went to the studio that following week and we basically comped like the two different guitar solos. And I was like, this is beautiful. This is what feels good in my gut. This is what hits. This is what's powerful to me.
What the song needed.
Yeah. And so the combination of solos sounds so good. But yeah, no, I love performing it live and still the same energy no matter what. But yeah, it's my favorite. I had teachers growing up. I had some voice teachers growing up who didn't always let me try things with my range, didn't always let me try higher notes, didn't, they were like, you're an alto, so you have from this note to that note. I was like, okay. And when Amit and I were recording 10 Things, he was like, okay, look, if it sounds like crap, I can fix it. I'm not afraid to, fix it if it sounds bad. And so he was like, I want you to like break the window. Not really, but And so
awesome.
We were recording the high notes in 10 Things, and he was like, I don't gotta fix it. You hit it. You're fine.
Wow. See, and that's what you need in a producer, somebody to encourage, and that's awesome that he did that. Way to go, if you're still watching.
Yeah. You encouraged it for sure.
Yeah, that's amazing. Because that's what you need is to break out of that shell and really make the song what you hear and what it should be and what it could be. And maybe you didn't know until that point where you're like, oh, I think I do want to, you know, like a belting note or something, you know? And so that's so awesome that, like, and that's the great thing about producers is they can fix anything.
Yeah.
You know? So if it sounds like crap, they're going to tell you, you know, like, I don't know if I can fix, you know.
Yeah.
You know, so I think it's great that he was so supportive of you and being able to let you be creative like that, you know?
Exactly. And, you know, as a woman, too, who is gay, you know, I know for me, like, the first time, especially with Pop Punk Princess, I remember feeling really nervous, being like, okay, I have a song about a girl.
Yeah.
About me flirting with women.
But you know what? I think it's fine now. It's a norm now. Like,
it's so normal. And I think like growing up in Maine, you know, I grew up with a lot of conservative white people in Maine. I know those kinds of things were hard to let go, like letting go of those like beliefs of like, you know, if I'm so flamboyant, I'm throwing it in your face. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Is a lot of people back home felt like, oh, if you're gay, why do you got to throw it in everyone's face? And, you know, to be honest, I used to have internalized homophobia in that way. I did. Even though I was bi, I was like, why do I got to throw it in people's faces? But now I'm like, oh, I got to be just proud of my, like, you know.
Yeah. Embrace it. Shit, like, you're in the city for it. Come on. We have a whole, you know, block dedicated to it.
Yeah, I live on that block. I live on that.
There you go. Good job, girl.
Yeah. So for me, it was a lot of letting go of those just, I don't want to say prejudice, but just those views and like mindsets and and it was more, you know, I would never judge someone, you know, for who they were, but it was more of how I felt about myself, you know.
And that's usually where it starts, though. Like, if most people, if they have a strong opinion about something, you know, as far as hate or something like that, it's usually something they see and they don't want to see in themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. I know. It's so funny because I like to tell everybody that like I'm a very masculine lesbian. You know, maybe the hair makes me a little more femme lately. It's there's a construct. But I definitely feel like I've grown into my identity, and I think being very masculine presenting, I didn't get to express it when I was a kid. You know, I don't know what you've seen in my outfits, but, you know, I'm sagging the jeans, you know, flashing the posters. Like, I love doing that. But, you know, I remember seeing people, like, when I was growing up, you know, on the other side of that, with, like, gay men who were more feminine. And I'd always be like, why are you so out there? But the reality was I wasn't comfortable with my own identity.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Thing to be really proud of is that you're able to, don't take it the wrong way, but like you're so young and you're able to embrace that being as young as you are. And some people don't even find that until they're 40 or 50. So for you to be able to find yourself and know who you are is huge. And plus it probably helps, like, I would think it would help with music and you being able to be on stage and sing about girls or whatever. It doesn't matter. But, you know, be on stage and have that presence for yourself and that brand for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think, you know, it's all about getting comfortable in my sexuality. And even day by day, like, I still have my moments.
Well, everybody does. Yeah. I mean, believe me, I just turned 40. It's never going to get easier.
think where I was going on my rant, man, I've just been having such a hard time focusing on like one little thing in my brain lately. But I think where I was going with my rant is I never wanted to look too butch growing up.
Yeah.
I never wanted.
Learning about. What are you talking about?
Yeah, I always was scared of like certain outfits. And this was I think too when I was kind of being like, okay, I'm not as feminine as I think I am, but again,
Yeah.
you know, I've been learning to not look at like gender roles in black and white, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think like trying things has helped. Does that make sense? Like try
Sure. Yeah. Life experience.
Yeah, like trying on like certain outfits where I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I thought I'd look super butch and masculine and super like boy, even though I'm a girl. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, it's like, well, I mean, like it's not that big of a deal. And also, Maine's very traditional. Maine is very traditional. Like people think wearing ripped jeans and a band T-shirt is, oh my god, that's all Haley Graves ever wore and ever was.
They
Really?
would not like Seattle.
Yeah. Oh, that's
all many of us wear.
no, I had a conversation with someone a while back who was back home, and before my grandmother passed away, she needed some help getting her clothes on because she had dementia.
Yeah.
Um, I was able to help my grandmother pick out her clothes. My grandmother was like, I need some help picking out clothes, whatever. So, you know, I was like, okay, what about this outfit? This outfit? And I said, look, I don't know why you're asking me, Graham. I have the worst taste in fashion. You are asking the worst person. And she's like, I know, but you're the only one here.
Tell me you put her in a band shirt.
I didn't. She didn't have any.
Missed opportunity.
I know. That's what she did with the Haley Graves shirt I gave her.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, no, I picked out whatever outfit. And so it's funny because I had told that story to some people back home in Maine, and they were like, oh, did you put her in a band shirt and jeans? LOL. I was like, what do you mean? You know, what's so funny about that? And they were like, well, that's because that's all you ever wear. And I was like, huh? And then it hit me, and I was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You guys used to give me a very hard time about that. I'm like, it's normal out here. I'm like, I look like everyone else out here, you know?
Yeah. You found your people. Yeah. I can it's interesting because you kind of remind me of myself, and that's all I ever wore too. Like in my 20s, that's all I wore. Jeans and band shirt. Like that's what I went to shows, like that was who I was.
Yeah.
And high school, I was in the 90s, and we had, I'll even send you a picture. We had backwards hats, like
Yep.
to this day I still wear them. We have
Yeah.
back hats and like flannel shirt, especially in Seattle with Nirvana, the flannel shirt and the jeans.
I ditched my flannel a little bit. I flannel as much as I used to, but
Yeah.
yeah, no, flannels were my thing. Like I used to wear flannels all the time. I have one outfit where I still am wearing flannels with, but like I don't flannel as often.
My dog, man. Having a puppy.
But it's normal, so it's really nice to see that
it's come back, I think. Like it's like the new cool thing.
I know.
I feel like the 90s fashion is coming back, and some of it's okay and some of it's kind of scary.
Off though, because it's like I was wearing, because you know, pop punk flannel t-shirt, you know, think of
sure.
pop punk boy.
Yeah.
You know, I was wearing all of that, and you know, before I was comfortable in my identity. But that's when I started being comfortable in my identity. I was like, oh, I like how I look. This is what I'm wearing.
Yeah.
And like,
you're really a 90s kid.
Yeah. I was so I like to say that like I had a little leeway. I get a little wiggle room.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so yeah, no, just it's crazy to me because now I'll see people from back home dressing like that. I'm like, can you not? Like, you gave me shit about like this for like 4 years of high school and like 5 years of middle school. Like,
you started a trend.
Yeah.
cool and you're all over the radio and all over, what, I'm maybe not the radio, but you're all over the newspaper and everything. And everybody's like, oh, we should have followed her when she was here.
Yeah. There's been some people from back home that have started like giving me a little attention, being like, oh my God, I remember when you were, and I'm like, don't go there. Don't go there.
Yeah. Not if, when you get bigger, it'll happen. People will come from the woodwork.
Yeah.
So just be aware of that for yourself and
Yeah.
make sure that you're prepared for it.
Yeah. I think that's one of the biggest things I've like.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or, even last in Seattle, there's been some people that were like, oh, I kind of doubted you. I didn't think you were going to be doing like, yeah, that's where I am. This is where I am.
And those are the people you don't need in your life. You got plenty of awesome people that support you.
Exactly. And yeah.
Just tell them that you have some of the biggest names in Seattle.
Yeah.
Think music is fantastic, and that's all you need.
Yeah. That's how I feel. That's how I feel. I feel like,
run with it.
Yeah, I'm confident,
Yeah.
both in my identity, and
yeah.
Has a problem with it, I mean, fuck them.
Exactly. And that's how you should be, because you're fantastic and you're amazing and you have an amazing talent, and those people are just jealous. That's all it is.
That's how I see it.
Don't let those people keep the confidence, and don't let those people,
thank you,
get in your head.
Yeah, thank you.
But you're awesome.
I appreciate
it. And since you're so awesome, I really want you to sing. Really
okay. Cool. Thanks for you.
Yes.
My girlfriend said she thinks I'm not growing up. She thinks I'm gonna stay 18 forever. She hates my guitar and I play it too loud. She says, baby, can you please turn it down? I say, okay. Whatever you say. My girlfriend hates my snapbacks, and she hates my active tea. She hates that I dress like I'm 18, but that's okay with me. She hates my Nintendo Switch and my black and white flannel too. Thinks my pop punk is cringy, and that's okay with me. She said she doesn't like my pizza tattoo. She thinks Parker Canyon and I should get a room. Maybe she's just jealous of my pop punk attitude. My girlfriend is with snapbacks, and she hates my activity. She hates that I dress like I'm 18, but that's okay with me. She hates my Nintendo Switch and my black and white flannel too. She thinks my pop punk is cringy, and that's okay with me. She thinks I'm never ever gonna grow up. She thinks I'm never gonna give this up. I will stand my ground and make my friends proud by never ever giving this up. My girlfriend hates my snapbacks, and she hates my activity. She hates that I just like I'm 18, but that's okay with me. She hates my Nintendo Switch and my black and white flannel too. She thinks my pop punk is cringy, and that's okay when my girlfriend hates my snapbacks, and she hates my activity. She hates that I dress like I'm 18, but that's okay with me. She hates my love for pizza and my trash foot tattoo. She says, baby, you gotta grow up someday. And I just laugh and say, fuck you.
I love it so much. That's so great. I love it so much. I think that song is so fun. Like, it's just so fun, and like the lyrics are so funny and like
You
they're
know
just so great.
is I've been working. You know Kathy Moore from Kathy Moore Trio.
Yes.
She's my guitar teacher, um, and so we've been working together for about maybe 6 months now.
Yeah.
And she's heard my stuff, but I never played, her any of my stuff. And one of the things we started working on was getting me to improvise more. And she wanted to hear She Thinks, and so I played it for her. And when you play a song just so many times, you
Yeah.
think of like the lyrics, and it had been a really long time since I had played it acoustically, and I was just like playing it for her and was like, oh my god, these lyrics are actually really fucking funny. I was like, that's amazing.
Well, and you can, when it's acoustic, it's way different, right? Like I kept hearing like the electric, right?
Yeah.
The or whatever. And so I feel like it's just a totally different vibe when you do it acoustic,
I think so.
And so you have to like almost imagine that it's that same vibe. But I think if you do it acoustic next time, this is a suggestion. If you do it acoustic, maybe slow it down.
Yeah.
And have a different version acoustic and challenge yourself.
One of the things I want to do is experiment more with like open chords. I know that sounds really weird.
Yeah.
I've been playing guitar for 10 years and it's like I should know how to do this. But instead of like power chords,
Yes.
I just would love to do something like it just gives essence, it fills space more.
But that is I think the thing that I've doing this show that I've learned from people is that music is endless. There's no box.
Yeah.
And it's like an open road, you don't have to conform to stop signs or anything, right?
Yeah.
So I think that your music is fantastic anyways, but I think it would be fun for you and a challenge for you to take maybe one song or all of your songs, whatever, and make them into something else or do something different with them, right?
With things, I made like I'm also a little bit of a jazz guitarist. I made like a weird little kind of thing. I've done that a little bit before.
Yeah.
Sometimes when I'm playing it live, just because like everybody's playing the same thing when playing power chords, sometimes I will just go just like with inversions, you know what I mean? And it just lightens it up a little bit, and that way you can hear, instead of like a beefy bass notes, you get stuff like that.
Do you like doing acoustic more than electric, or do you like the electric more?
It's really weird because lately I've been really more creative when it's been my acoustic, and I've been a lot more creative in the last maybe 6 months when it's just been me and my acoustic.
Yeah.
But I prefer electric, but I'm definitely getting down with the acoustic-y stuff a little more.
Yeah. Do you play any, I mean, I know you play guitar, but do you play any other music?
I play too.
You play piano too?
Bass.
Oh, bass.
A little bit of piano too, but not well. But bass is my other, like, if someone needs a session player, like, I can fill in on bass a little bit, depending on the genre.
Yeah. What is your favorite? But what is your another genre that you like? Who do you listen to?
Demi Lovato is my favorite singer. Demi Lovato is my idol. I love Demi so much.
I was thinking with this song that totally, you can totally hear that, like that she's kind of an influence.
That's so cool. You can hear Demi.
Yeah.
That's so awesome.
Yeah, you can definitely hear that influence. Yeah. That's awesome.
Yeah, you can hear
great musician and a great writer. Like,
yeah, you can hear it in my song 10 Things where like the Demi Lovato influences. And I think that might be why it's my favorite because it just reminds me of Demi.
yeah,
Like,
yeah,
I don't know, it's like I feel like I get to embody Demi like
yeah,
a little bit with it, and I think
yeah.
it kind of shows. Um,
That's awesome. Do you what? How do I want to say this? Okay, I just had a bit of thought.
you're
Do
good.
you think it would be like the best opportunity if you got it to be able to write with her or sing with her, or is there somebody else that you
Demi.
feel it would
Demi.
be her? Yeah, I kind of feel like I was gonna.
100% Demi.
Yeah,
I love Demi so much, and they're like going into pop punk now, and I'm like, oh, maybe there's a chance in the future. Um,
yeah,
but I absolutely love them. They've been a huge influence on me.
yeah.
Since I was 10. They were the reason I figured out I was not straight. That's what I tell everybody. They were
Yeah,
like person that was of the same sex that I had.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
And that's okay. I
yeah.
mean, it's not even like a bad thing. And I mean, I don't swing that way, but she's beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, no, she's gay now, so it's like, oh,
Hey, I didn't even know that.
exactly. I just, I came to it maybe a little quicker than Debbie did.
Yeah. Maybe there's a chance. I will be rooting for you, my friends.
I made a TikTok saying this, though. I literally made a TikTok saying that, like, Demi is 9 years, like, older than me, or 8 years older than me. And, here's the thing, when you're, like, 15 and, like, Demi Lovato's 8 years older than you,
Yeah.
that's a huge age difference. When you're 21, it's not. It's
It doesn't matter. Yeah.
so they're like, call me, like I'm single, like hello. I flirt with everyone, but like Demi, I'm single.
Yeah, right.
I wouldn't want to date a
Oh my god.
if I was 29. I wouldn't want to personally. That's
Yeah.
I'm a disaster.
You never know. She might help you out. Like,
Yeah, no, I would love to work with Demi. That would be like a dream come true for me. If I could have any collaboration, it would 100% be with Demi.
where's a place that you like dream of playing?
Um, I've had a lot of different places I think about playing, Sometimes when I go into bigger venues like arenas, I think about that. Um, I growing up I went to a lot of like concerts, like mainstream concerts.
Yeah.
So I've seen Demi Lovato 6 times, going on number 7 soon. Um anyway,
Yeah. My favorite band going on in August 16 times, so I feel that.
yeah, that's how it goes.
But they've been around for 30 years, so I kind of.
Yeah. Yep. No, this will be my 6th time or 7th time with Demi.
So
I would say Boston TD Garden because that's where I saw all the concerts I went to as a kid, and I just one day like playing there would be super dope.
it'll happen.
That's my
Test it.
that's my goal. That's my goal. A collaboration with Demi and Boston TD Gardens, like my absolute.
To be on the, you're gonna open for her or
That
some.
would dream is to like open for Demi, and like I said, they're doing pop punk now, so like it could happen.
Try to apply for maybe opening for her when she's here.
She's not coming to Seattle. She's coming to Oregon.
Well, Oregon.
I
Here.
know, I know what you mean. Yeah,
I
no,
was the Pacific Northwest.
yeah, you're good. She's not doing local openers. She's not doing that. I wish.
Oh, really?
I know. I would have. If Demi was looking for a local opener, I 100% would be hitting up every booker I know that could have some sort of connection to that because that would just be cool. But I've gotten to open for some pretty cool people. I opened for Tiny Moving Parts back in November.
Yeah.
And I opened for Dwayne recently, and both of them are signed to Hopeless Records, and that's the label I want to sign to at some point.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for you. You're so talented, and can't wait to see where your journey takes you, you
There's,
know?
I think it's cool because it's like back in Maine, I didn't really have a lot of friends growing up, and so
Yeah.
now I actually have friends, which is nice. I had some friends growing up, but not a whole ton. But having friends of color finally, like, oh man, it's so
Yeah.
nice. You know how nice it is to have someone that looks like you. You know what I mean. To talk fashion with, like, that's something I've never really had. And so I grew up, with all the other girls talking about hair and like makeup, and everybody thought like, oh, Haley doesn't want to talk about it because I was very tomboy like as a kid. Like I was even more masculine than I am now. um, I was very very tomboy, and
Yeah.
so I yeah, I never really got to have those conversations around fashion or hair, or clothing, or makeup with anyone. Or if I did, it would be met with, oh, you should straighten your hair. It looks so good. And I did one day and I lost 5 inches of hair that is still growing back to this day.
What happened?
Oh, so story time. So basically, I went to a white woman in Maine. That was problem number one. Mistake number one. Uh, there's this white woman in Maine at this salon.
Yeah.
Not afraid to call them out. Avita Salon in Maine. Um, and they were about 40 minutes from where I lived. And I was just going through this identity issue. Like, I was still bisexual.
Yeah.
Um, and I was still kind of leaning towards more guys than I was girls. So, I went through a really bad breakup with a boy maybe like a year prior, and I just
Yeah.
wanted to feel desirable. Do you know what I'm saying? You know how it's
Yeah.
like want to feel desired by men? Like that feels so weird to say as a lesbian. But I wanted to feel desired. Like I wanted to be seen as attractive, and I'm not afraid to say that's what I want to be seen as towards women now. But
Yeah.
guys, that was what I wanted, and I wanted to be seen as pretty, and because a lot of guys like weren't into me because I looked so different from the stereotypical white girl, or
Yeah.
I like really toxic guys because I just wanted to be liked. Um, and so yeah, basically all my friends were like, yeah, you look so good with your hair straight, blah, blah, blah. And I had a conversation with someone and they were like, oh, Washington's like predominantly white, right? Like, you're not just gonna, and it's like, yeah, Washington is, but I'm like, but there's at least one other black person besides me.
There's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Like,
It blows me when people say Seattle's super white. I'm like, no, I don't see it, but okay.
we're
Uh,
super diverse.
yeah.
We're
Yeah.
all per
Uh,
yeah.
so I ended up basically being like, well, okay, well, if Seattle is so white and it's as white as Maine, I guess I'll straighten my hair. And I was like, okay, I want it to stay straight. I want it, this whole thing. Like, it was such an identity crisis. And so I went to this white woman who gave me what was known as a Brazilian blowout. It was very expensive. And she straightened my hair and cut 5 inches of it off while it was straight. And she like tried layering it, and like, oh my god, she made such a mess of my hair. Um, and so yeah, it was a disaster. And she was like, oh yeah, it'll stay straight, like me believing her. And she's like, yeah, it'll stay straight for like 3 months, and every 3 months you'll just have to come back and get it done again. I was like, okay, cool. Um, and
Mm.
yeah, no, ever since then, that was 3 years ago. So
Yeah. Just keep your hair the way it is, girl.
uh, I like my hair the way it is, and I made a post about
Totally, it's totally your personality.
yeah, exactly, and I
So,
posted
yeah.
about it, and I think I had said something. It was very large vocabulary for me. Let me just tell you, I was very large vocabulary, but I was like, never again at the expense of a white person will I fuck up my hair just because they're not used to seeing an Afro Latinx woman be so comfortable in her identity.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't ever let anybody do that
That
to you.
like that's what I think it came down to is I was just so comfortable in my identity and they weren't used to seeing like an afro line.
That's their fault, not yours.
I was like, you know,
Come on. I love your hair. I wish my hair could do something that cool. Like
no.
mine just sits straight on my head. I tried to perm it like yours once when I was younger.
I hear that from people often.
Yeah, and it did not take. It
Yep.
out like I think I was like 9 or something, and it fell out
Yep.
as soon as I had it.
Yep.
But it is a pleasure to have you on, and you're welcome to come back anytime.
Yeah.
And I don't want to keep you any later than 8 because I told you it was an hour. So
you're fine. You're fine. I'm here all night. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not going anywhere. I literally, everybody thinks I'm so busy, but really I'm not. I don't do anything but like sit in my apartment and like make myself look busy online. Like,
you're doing a very good job.
I've had people say to me, and I think you said it earlier, it's like I've had a lot of people say things like, oh my god, I want to reach out, but like I'm worried that like she's not gonna see it or whatever. And I'm like, what do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm like, I'll see it. I'm like, yeah, I respond. You know, I don't ignore.
Yeah.
I
Well,
don't.
it depends because coming from the outside perspective of that,
Yeah.
a lot of musicians don't. They respond to email or they respond to whatever. But if you try and DM them, they think it's some scam or something. Or if you try and message them on like a post or something, I've been doing this for 3 years and I've had it all. And it's crazy to me the things that, you know, even if you're nice or if you're like, hey, or whatever, people just don't respond.
By a few people before too, where like I've been like, hey, let's play a show together. And it's like they'll leave me on red, and sometimes they'll respond back with email. But I'm like, you know, I'm like, oh, this is weird that like y'all are leaving me on red. Okay, cool. Like I see you're posting, but okay. But yeah, no, I always try to make sure I check my Instagram DMs. Like I don't get that many, honestly. If anything, if you were to see my DMs right now, it would literally show you that I've probably DM'd more people than like people like sending me.
Have you? that's
that's
me.
yeah, that's the thing. Is like I try to be as responsive as fast as I can and as quickly as I can.
Yeah.
You know, I try to make sure people know that like I'm around. Or somebody said to me, I work over at Cafe Racer, by the way. And someone came through and they were like, "Oh my god, you're Haley Graves," and they were so shocked that like I was working there.
Yeah.
And they were like, "Yeah, I've been trying to DM you, but my DMs aren't going through." And I'm like, "What?" And and so I went through my thing and like couldn't find them. And apparently, once you hit a certain number of followers, unless you're following that person back, they can't DM you.
Oh yeah, I heard about that. That's an actual thing.
Yeah,
Wow.
I don't know how many people follow me now. I think I'm at maybe 2,300 or something like that.
Yeah.
It's so unhealthy to keep track like that.
Yeah, but I don't keep track either.
Yeah, I try not to.
Then you become obsessed.
I'm like, I'll probably stop keeping track once I'm verified. But having I guess over 2,000 followers, I guess is where that hits. But yeah, no, I had like 5 or 6 people try to DM me, and it was like they couldn't. And then I tried to DM some people that didn't have as many followers, and it wouldn't let me. And I'm like, that's so weird.
Interesting.
Like, doing that, I'm like, that's so discriminating.
Well, that just means you gotta use, get on their post and be like, hey.
Mm-hmm. That's what I've actually had to do.
I'm the coolest person around. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. No, I've had to like leave comments on some people's posts who I was like, oh yeah, I'll message you later, and it like won't let me message them. And I'm like, hey, I don't know why it's not letting me message you, but it'll let me message them with like my personal account. So I'm just gonna delete that account, but now I'm like, I have to keep it just to like message people sometimes because this one won't let me message.
Yeah. Well, I think you are fantastic, and I think you should come back anytime.
I will.
I've had so much fun talking to you. You are just a ray of sunshine, and I love.
Also glad I was able to talk with you too. It's so good to hear from you and finally meet you too.
Yeah, you too. I'm so glad. I hope we get to meet in person.
Yeah, sorry I didn't say hi to the Korean show. That was stressful.
Yeah, that was very stressful. Yeah, I was working it, booking it. Yeah, it was crazy. Yeah, but you did a great job. I was very.
I did 2 shows in one day that day.
I know.
Yeah, yeah.
I know. You went from I think from Burien to the other one?
No, Olympia to Burien.
To Burien. Okay. Yeah, I was impressed. That they told me that and I was like, man, this girl is committed. Like
yeah.
That's awesome. Well,
thank you
so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. So good to see you.
Yeah, you too. And we will, everybody go follow her, go support her. She's a local Seattleite, so be sure you try and check her out when she's in town and doing shows. So, yeah, we love her.
Yeah, I'm a local Seattleite now, I guess.
You are. It's been over a year, girl.
Oh, yeah, it's been 3, so yeah, I guess so.
You're officially a Seattleite.
It's good to see you. Have a good one.
Goodbye, Maine.
Yes.
Just kidding. That'll always be.
No, you're good. You're good. Well, it's good.
Well, we appreciate you. Thank you, and everybody have a good night.
Thank you.
Be safe, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Later.